Hi, and welcome to Broga. My name's Rich, and I'm just one of the team of teachers supporting Broga. The purpose of this brief video is to give you an insight into Broga and also an idea of what to expect from the 5-week Introduction to Yoga course that you've signed up to. So let's start. What is yoga? If you're completely new to yoga, then I encourage you to try and forget about any preconceived ideas or typically the stereotypes that fill our media about what yoga is. There are so many definitions of yoga, but one I particularly like is that it's a mind and body practice through movement and breath that can build strength, flexibility, improve joint mobility, and has mental health benefits. So let's break it down a bit. I'll try and keep it simple, but to be honest, the key thing for me is uniting movement and breath. We will move our bodies from one pose to another pose, aiming to try to pull all of these movements together whilst breathing efficiently. In doing so, we maximize those benefits that I've just mentioned. Now, frankly, there's thousands of poses, but typically us as teachers will focus on anything up to 50 to 60. When we link these poses together, we create what's called a sequence. Now, these sequences, you don't need to remember. Your teacher will guide you through them. Now, some of these poses you may have heard of. Names like downward facing dog or child's pose are maybe some of the more common ones. And again, you don't need to remember them. You don't need to know what they are when you turn up to our course. We will guide you through them and guide you through where you may be feeling it in your body, where to breathe, how to move. Now, all of these individual poses are designed to work certain muscle groups or joint areas. And as we pull all these poses together into a flow or a sequence, then sometimes you can get a whole body workout or a whole area of your body type of workout. Now, I've already mentioned the importance of breath, and you will be guided by your teacher on how to breathe efficiently in yoga. And in doing so, as I say, let's maximize those benefits from this wonderful practice. Your teacher may use actually different language called Sanskrit. It's an ancient language, and it is the universal language of yoga. All teachers will typically use the English translation as well as the Sanskrit. Now, the most simple word in Sanskrit is asana. Now, asana simply means pose. So what we find is, typically a pose will always have the word asana in it, like Trikonasana, 3-angle pose. Again, you quickly pick this up, and then through repetition of these poses, through sequences and flows, you'll be surprised how quickly you start to remember some of these names in a different language. But as I said, don't get freaked out by it. It'll be there. If you choose to remember it, do so. So what is Broga? Let's be honest. There are so many barriers to men to practice yoga. The stereotypes are not helpful here, often inferring that you have to be female, like wearing lycra, incredibly bendy, and may well be vegetarian. In fact, yoga is nothing like that. Yoga can benefit everybody, and in being so, everyone's body. But recognizing these barriers, Broga was launched in 2022, mostly south of Guildford, but now we're starting to expand north of Guildford into North Surrey and beyond. It aims to get 1 million men moving. Men who, let's face it, may be feeling the effects of age, although we do have many younger members, as well as maybe having stiff backs, achy joints, and may just struggle with day-to-day movements, like tying their shoelaces or getting up off the floor. Our yoga classes are specifically designed for men who have little or no experience of yoga, offering a welcome space to stretch out, loosen up, maybe gain some strength, and just generally feel good. And we also know that many men struggle to actually find opportunities to socialise, and that's why every class ends with a cold beer, an ideal time to catch up, share stories, share experiences, share what they've felt during their practice, and generally just chew the fat with some of their mates. We're all about breaking down the common misconceptions of yoga. You don't need any fancy gear. Old t-shirts, baggy shorts are absolutely perfect. Everybody's in the same boat, so no one feels out of place. So let's move on. What can you expect from classes? Firstly, yoga is not competitive. We try to leave our egos outside the room. We try to have a level of acceptance on what our bodies can do on any day, understanding that may be different the last time you practiced, for better or for worse. We encourage you not to compare. There are so many different reasons why one person may have access to a pose in a greater way than other people. For instance, the anatomy, the length of bones, length of ratio of legs to arms, strength. What type of activities have you done in your life? What haven't you done? Do you work sitting down, standing up? All of these reasons are variables why one person, as I said, may have more access to a pose than someone else. It's not because anyone's better or worse. It's simply we're all different as individuals. Now, you'll be joining a class where there are other members who are more experienced. They may have been coming for a few weeks, a few months, or longer. But don't worry, your teacher will always start with the basics and slowly build on that. You'll be very surprised how quickly you start to pick it up. And by week 4, 5, realistically, everyone's doing exactly the same practice. Now, up until then, the teacher will be giving particular attention to the beginners, offering adaptations to poses to make sure they're at least accessible or partly accessible to their bodies, and giving adaptations to the more experienced guys to take their practice on further. In this way, we are all progressing. We are all experiencing a pose, just at different stages. The classes are aimed to be a safe place where there is no judgment, a place where there's a sense of fun, as we all wobble in balances, for instance, or we all might look at a pose and think it's impossible. We have a bit of a laugh about it. It's not a place where we're going to take everything seriously. Over those 5 weeks, as I said, you will build on that basic knowledge, move through a range of asanas, that's poses again, moving with our breath, and you'll be encouraged to know, how does your body actually feel? In doing so, you may feel there's some discomfort. Now, discomfort is kind of okay, but pain is not okay. Discomfort means you may be using a muscle, lengthening a muscle that you haven't used in a while. And let's face it, there's lots of muscles that we don't. So discomfort is okay, but pain, we encourage you to stop. Also, you know your limits better than we will. You know what potential injuries you've had in the past, and you need to understand to respect those and work within those limits. Okay? Now, in the classes, we encourage you to come with open mind, try new experiences, and just see how it goes. All we need you to do for a class is bring a mat, maybe a drink, and wear those loose baggy clothing that you're going to be comfortable in. The teacher will provide blocks, which are our key tools to make sure we can rest on things and make poses more accessible. They'll also potentially bring straps, again, for the same type of use. So what do we expect from you over the 5-week introductory course? Well, firstly, we really hope that you can attend all of the 5 one-hour classes, arrive on time, and maximise the amount of time for you to experience yoga. In doing so, we hope you can ignore often some of those little reasons why we say we can't make it to our mat. If we can ignore those little reasons and get to those classes, you will progress and you will be able to maximize some of those benefits I've already mentioned. Honestly, I've only met people who have regretted not practicing, as opposed to anyone who has regretted practicing yoga. Now, although our progress in yoga takes patience, it's a long game. It's not a quick fix for anything. We do realise though that over those 5 weeks, you may feel a little bit different. And we really encourage you to really take stock after the whole 5 weeks, not just after the first class, but taking the whole 5 classes, just to monitor how do you feel, how has the yoga made you feel, not just the movement, not just the muscle work, but the social element, the getting together, the talking, having a drink with mates. The whole experience is yoga. That is what we'd like you to take into context. And from there, you can decide whether you wish to practice more and more after the 5 weeks and potentially sign up to a further membership with Broga. So that's it for now. We really look forward to welcoming you on your first class and beginning your journey with Broga. Bye for now.